All right, let's talk about discipline, but probably not in the way you're used to thinking about it. Forget all the stuff about more willpower or just grinding it out. We're going to throw that out the window for a minute. We're going to explore a completely different idea. That real, lasting discipline, it isn't about how strong you are. It's about engineering. It's about having better mechanics.
Okay, so be honest. Think about the last time you got super excited to start something new. Maybe it was a new diet, a workout plan, or maybe learning a language. You were fired up, right? Absolutely ready to go. But then, what happened? What always seems to happen? Does this look a little too familiar? In week 1, you are an absolute machine. You're on fire. By week 4, though, things start to get a little shaky. You miss a workout, you tell yourself, oh, it's just one day. And by week 10, poof, that new habit is just a memory. It's this super frustrating cycle, and yeah, it can make you feel like a total failure. But here's the thing, and this is really important. What if I told you it's probably not your fault? The reason so many of us fail isn't because we lack willpower. It's because we unknowingly walk straight into something called the exponential trap.
See, we think that starting a new habit is like climbing a nice, steady staircase. We assume it gets a little harder each day, right? A straight, predictable line. But that is not what happens at all. In reality, the difficulty, the friction, all those little excuses, they don't just add up, they multiply. One bad day doesn't just add one little bit of difficulty. It creates 2 brand new excuses for tomorrow. And that, my friend, is an exponential curve.
And this chart just lays it out so clearly. Look at our expectation on the left. We go in preparing for, say, a level 2 difficulty. But in reality, by week 10, we're actually up against a level 10. It's this massive gap between what we think we're signing up for and what we actually have to face. That's why it always feels like we brought a knife to a gunfight.
So I really want this to sink in. You didn't fail because you were weak. You failed because you were fighting an exponential war with a linear strategy. You were just unprepared for the cold, hard math of the problem. But what if you could actually change that equation? And this is where we totally flip the script. Because once you understand this trap, you can start to build what we might call an invisible advantage to help you sidestep it completely. This quote right here, this is the whole key. Your secret weapon isn't trying to find more motivation when you're feeling weak and tired. No way. It's doing the work before you feel weak. It's all about looking into the future, seeing those moments of temptation coming, and preparing for them right now while you're still strong. You see how this changes everything? We can stop trying to be the hero, fighting our urges with brute force in the heat of the moment. Instead, we become the engineer. We build a system, a set of mechanics that basically makes the right decision for us, almost on autopilot. So, that all sounds good, but how do we actually build this system? What are these so-called mechanics of no? Well, it's actually a pretty simple and practical process that anyone can use. So, let's break it down.
Okay, it really just boils down to these 3 steps. First, you've got to identify the excuses your future self is going to make. And you have to be brutally honest here. Write them down. Second, for each one of those excuses, you prescript a firm, non-negotiable response. And third, and this is seriously the most important part, you practice that response until it becomes second nature, totally automatic.
Let's make this super concrete. Say you're on a diet. Your tired brain at the end of the day whispers, I'm too tired to cook. But your pre-scripted mechanic kicks right in. Doesn't matter. My healthy meal is already prepped in the fridge. There's no debate. Or when your brain says, come on, one cheat meal won't hurt, it's met with a simple, pre-decided, no, I'm sticking to the plan today. You see? You're not making a decision when you're weak. You're just executing a plan you made when you were strong.
And when you start applying these mechanics over and over again, something really amazing starts to happen. The entire dynamic of discipline just begins to shift.
Every single time you spot an excuse coming and fire back with your pre-scripted no, you're literally carving a new pathway in your brain. You're taking what was a really difficult, high willpower decision and turning it into a low-effort, automatic habit. You're not fighting a battle anymore. You're just walking down a path that's already been cleared.
So what's the ultimate goal of this whole system? It's to get the amount of willpower you need to make the right choice down to this number: 0. Nada. The system does all the heavy lifting for you so you don't have to. And this right here, this is the big takeaway. This is the paradigm shift.
Real discipline isn't about constantly forcing yourself to do the hard thing. It's about building a system that makes the right thing the path of least resistance. It's about making the right choice the easiest choice. So I'll just leave you with this to think about. That one goal you've been putting off, you know the one that always seems to beat you around week 10. What would happen if you approached it differently? Not as a battle of willpower, but as an engineering problem. What becomes possible when you finally stop fighting yourself and start mastering the mechanics instead?